The first thing he felt was the grit of sand against his cheek. It was coarse, cold, and strangely real, a sensation that pulled him from the depths of unconsciousness. For a moment, he didn't know where he was, or even who he was. There was only the roughness of the earth, the weight of his own body, and the faint taste of salt on his lips. It was everywhere: his hair, his mouth, his eyes. He coughed, spitting out grains that clung to his tongue and gums. His hands, trembling, brushed at his face, but the sand seemed endless, as if the island itself was trying to claim him. Pedro Serrano's eyelids fluttered open, heavy as lead. The world was a blur of blinding white light. He squinted, trying to make sense of the shapes and colors swirling before him, but the sun was merciless, stabbing at his eyes and forcing him to turn away. The ocean's roar filled his ears, but it sounded different, predatory. The waves crashed with a violence that seemed personal, as if the sea itself resented his survival. He pushed himself up, every muscle aching, his body protesting with every movement. The storm. He remembered chaos, splintering wood, screams, and then nothing. The memory came in flashes, the ship lurching, men shouting, the sky torn open by lightning, and then silence. He was alone. He staggered to his feet, legs trembling. The horizon was endless blue, sky meeting sea. There was no sign of rescue, no hint of civilization, just the vast emptiness stretching in every direction. No ship, no wreckage, no crewmates. The beach was eerily silent save for the wind and the relentless surf. Just him, stranded on a crescent of sand in the Caribbean. He turned in a slow circle, nothing but sand, wiry grass, and the relentless waves. The island was small, barely more than a sandbar, with no trees, no shade, and nowhere to hide from the elements. He dug his fingers into the sand, searching for anything: food, water, a sign from the wreck. But there was nothing. Only shells, stones, and the mocking call of distant gulls. Nausea and terror washed over him. He was marooned. The realization crept in slowly, chilling him more than the ocean wind. His stomach twisted with hunger and fear. The reality hit him like a blow. The sea had betrayed him, leaving him to die on this barren stage. He screamed, but the wind carried his voice away, scattering it across the waves as if it had never existed. No one answered. The sun began its merciless climb, heat beating down, thirst clawing at his throat. Sweat stung his eyes and his lips were already cracking from the salt and wind. He searched desperately for hope, for salvation. The island offered none, no shelter, no promise of survival. Each step revealed only more emptiness, more reminders of his isolation. It was a prison of sand and salt, and he was its only inmate. The weight of his predicament settled on him, suffocating. He felt smaller than he ever had before, dwarfed by the vastness of the sea and sky. He was Pedro Serrano, captain in the Spanish fleet. Now he was just a castaway. His title, his past, all seemed meaningless here, stripped away by the wind and waves, alone, on the edge of the world, and he was about to die. Yet, as the sun rose higher, a stubborn spark flickered within him, a refusal to surrender, even as the odds closed in. The island was so small he could walk its perimeter in under an hour. No trees, no shelter, no water, just sand, salt-scorched grass, and endless sea. Thirst became his obsession, a fire in his throat. He dug for water, licked dew from grass, but found only salt and disappointment. The sun tormented him, baking the ground and draining his strength. The ocean tempted him with its vastness, but its water was poison. He watched crabs and seabirds, envious of their belonging. He was an intruder, slowly rejected by the island. The surf and wind were his only company, a monotonous soundtrack to his solitude. This was not just an island, it was purgatory. Hunger gnawed at him, sharpening his senses, making every sound and scent on the wind feel amplified. His body ached, but his mind refused to surrender. The emptiness in his stomach was a constant reminder of his isolation, and yet it also fueled his determination to survive. He scoured the shoreline for anything edible. Shellfish clinging to rocks, tiny crabs darting between crevices, even seaweed tangled in the tide. Every discovery, no matter how small, felt like a victory against the relentless hunger. He pried them loose, devouring the raw flesh with trembling hands. The taste was briny and strange, but it was sustenance, and he savored every bite, feeling a flicker of hope ignite within him. It was food, and it sparked a flicker of hope. For the first time since washing ashore, he felt a sense of possibility, however faint. Then, a miracle. Just as his strength began to wane, a sea turtle lumbered ashore to lay eggs, its slow movements a gift from the ocean. With effort, he trapped it, securing meat and eggs for days. The turtle's arrival felt like a sign, a turning point in his struggle. The turtle's shell became a vessel, a precious tool for survival. He used it to store food, to carry water, and even as a makeshift bowl. When rain finally came, he collected water in the shells, watching each drop with gratitude. The sound of rain on the shell was a melody of hope. He drank deeply, the sweetest water he'd ever tasted. Each sip revived him, washing away the salt and despair. He had food, water, a way to live. The basics of survival were his, and with them came a fragile sense of security. His days found rhythm: gather shellfish, watch for turtles, ration water, and always keep an eye on the horizon for any sign of rescue. He adapted, learning the island's secrets. He studied the tides, the patterns of birds, and the edible plants that grew in the shade. No longer just a victim, he became a survivor. Each challenge he faced made him stronger, more resilient. Despair receded, replaced by stubborn determination. He greeted each sunrise with renewed resolve, refusing to let fear control him. He would not die here. The island would not claim him. He would live. Each day, he grew stronger, more resourceful, turning adversity into opportunity. The island's harshness became his teacher, shaping him into someone new, someone capable of enduring anything. He learned to read the land, to craft tools from stone and bone, to track animals and find hidden sources of food. He was no longer just surviving, he was enduring, building a life from the fragments of hope and determination. Hope, once faint, now burned within him, a guiding light in the wilderness. The sun was a relentless enemy. With no shade, Pedro's skin burned and blistered. He dug trenches for relief, but the sun's heat was inescapable. His clothes disintegrated, leaving him exposed and stripped of identity. Storms brought rain and terror. He clung to the sand as tempests raged. Passing ships appeared on the horizon, igniting hope, but always sailed away. Each disappointment crushed him further. The sun, storms, and solitude battered him daily. Survival was a battle against the elements and despair. Raw food kept him alive, but he craved fire, a sign of humanity. Each day, the absence of warmth gnawed at him, making the island feel even more desolate. He remembered the comfort of a hearth, the glow of embers, and the taste of food transformed by flame. Without fire, he felt stripped of civilization, reduced to mere survival. Fire meant warmth, cooked food, and hope for rescue. It was more than just a tool. It was a lifeline, a symbol of connection to the world he'd lost. The thought of a signal fire, visible to passing ships, filled him with longing and determination. He tried to make fire with sticks, but failed, hands raw and blistered. Each attempt left him more exhausted, but he refused to give up. The pain in his palms was a reminder of how much he needed fire, how much he missed the simplest comforts. Then, he found two hard pebbles on the shore. Their weight and texture sparked a new idea, a glimmer of hope in his weary mind. Striking them together, he saw a spark. It was fleeting, but it was real, a tiny miracle in the vast emptiness. Heart-pounding, he gathered dry grass, wood dust, and seaweed for tinder. Every scrap of dry material became precious, a possible bridge between hope and despair. As dusk fell, he struck the stones, again and again. The sky darkened, but he pressed on, refusing to let the night steal his resolve. A spark caught, smoke curled, and finally, a tiny flame flickered to life. Triumph surged through him. In that moment, he felt the power of creation, the return of something deeply human. That night, he ate cooked turtle meat by firelight. The taste was richer, the meal a celebration of his persistence and ingenuity. Fire transformed his existence. Warmth, safety, a beacon for ships. Its light pushed back the darkness, making the island feel less like a prison and more like a home. He guarded it fiercely, never letting it die. Each ember was precious, a fragile thread connecting him to hope. The island felt less hostile, the nights less cold. The fire's glow brought comfort, easing his fears and loneliness. Fire was his victory over nature. It was proof of his resilience, a testament to his will to survive. It was proof he was still a man, not just a beast. The flames reflected his spirit, burning bright against the odds. Each night the flames reminded him he could endure, he could hope, he could survive. And as long as the fire burned, so did his determination to find his way back to the world he once knew. With food, water, and fire secured, a new enemy emerged: loneliness. He talked to himself, argued with ghosts, desperate for human contact. Hope and despair cycled endlessly. Each sunrise a new chance, each sunset a fresh disappointment. He fought to keep his mind intact, marking days, reciting prayers, clinging to memories of who he was. 3 years passed. Pedro was transformed, sun-darkened, wild, nearly feral. Then one day another man staggered ashore. Pedro's first reaction was fear. This was his island, his kingdom. He watched the stranger, wary and hidden. The newcomer, Alfonso, wept on the sand. When Alfonso saw Pedro's fire, he approached, terrified. Pedro, armed with a turtle bone, confronted him. Alfonso thought Pedro a demon and prayed in terror. The absurdity broke Pedro's suspicion. He spoke, rough and unused, proving he was human, a Christian, a Spaniard, a castaway. Slowly, Alfonso believed him. Relief replaced fear. For the first time in years, Pedro was not alone. Two souls, united by suffering, found each other on the edge of the world. Hope returned. The year is 1526. A time when the vast oceans were both a promise of new worlds and a threat of untold dangers. For Pedro Serrano, a Spanish sea captain, the world has shrunk to a single, desolate patch of sand, a lonely island in the middle of nowhere. His ship is gone, swallowed by the merciless Caribbean Sea. He is alone, stranded with nothing but the remnants of his vessel. The sun beats down relentlessly, the ocean whispers death, and Serrano stands on his tiny kingdom, stripped of everything but his will to live. This is not an adventure, this is survival, breath by breath, moment by moment. The horizon offers no hope, only the crushing emptiness of sea and sky, an unending expanse of isolation. For 3 years, Serrano learned the island's cruel secrets, catching turtles for food, a lifeline in his solitary existence, drinking their blood for water, a grim necessity for survival, building a shelter from their shells, a fragile barrier against the elements. His skin turned to leather, his hair wild, his humanity fading into the wildness of the island, becoming one with the desolation. Hope was a flickering candle in a hurricane, a fragile light in the overwhelming darkness. Then, the impossible. Another man, clinging to wreckage, washes ashore, a sudden twist in Serrano's solitary tale. Serrano, silent for years, is no longer alone, but sees a rival, not a friend, in this unexpected visitor. The island barely supports one. Now there are two, a new dynamic in the struggle for survival. Suspicion replaces loneliness. Every resource is precious, every glance a calculation, every move a potential threat. The initial meeting is tense. Two men, both desperate, both ready to defend their territory, their fragile hold on life. The silence is broken, but what follows is not relief, but conflict. A new chapter in their fight for survival. The turtles, the water, the shelter, Serrano had earned them through hardship. Now he must share, a bitter pill to swallow. Two men, kings of a barren wasteland, face off, each one a mirror of the other's desperation. The ultimate test has just begun, a struggle not just for survival, but for dominance. Survival is no longer a solitary battle. It is now a shared ordeal, a test of cooperation and endurance. The first days with his new companion are tense. Each man is a stranger, a potential threat, and trust is a luxury neither can afford. They circle each other like two starving wolves, each desperate to claim the same meager meal, their eyes always watching, always wary. Serrano, the island's veteran, is wary. The newcomer disrupts his hard-won routine. Every resource, turtle meat, water, shelter, becomes a battleground, and even the smallest thing can spark conflict. Hunger makes animals of them both, stripping away civility and leaving only raw survival. But survival forces cooperation. When storms rage and the wind howls, they are driven together, huddled in their turtle shell hut, forced to share warmth and shelter. In those moments, arguments fade. They are just two men, small and fragile against nature's fury, clinging to each other for comfort and safety. Gradually, they depend on each other. One hunts, one guards the fire, one gathers wood, one repairs shelter. Their survival becomes a delicate dance of shared labor. Their bond is fragile, swinging between moments of friendship and sudden bursts of fury, always teetering on the edge. Some days they share stories of Spain, longing for home, and for a life that now feels impossibly distant. Other days a small mistake or careless word ignites anger and old wounds are reopened. The island divides them. They draw a line in the sand, each claiming his own half, as if distance could bring peace. But the island is too small for borders. The wind and sea erase their divisions, reminding them how little control they truly have. They need each other too much to stay apart, their fates now hopelessly intertwined. Their shared struggle for survival pulls them back together again and again, forging a bond that is both painful and necessary. Companionship is both a burden and a lifeline, a paradox they cannot escape. On this island, conflict and cooperation are inseparable, each day a test of patience and will. Two broken men, bound by fate, cannot escape each other, or themselves, no matter how hard they try. Each day is a relentless cycle dictated by sun and tide. The rhythm of nature is unforgiving, and every morning brings new challenges to overcome. There is no room for hesitation. Survival demands constant action and awareness. Water is the first priority. Hunting turtles is brutal, but it's their lifeline. The hunt is exhausting, requiring skill, patience, and teamwork. Every successful catch means another day alive, another chance to endure. They drink blood, eat meat, and use shells for shelter. Nothing is wasted. Every part of the animal is precious, a resource to be used for survival. The weather is a constant enemy. The sun burns, storms terrify, and the wind can tear apart what little they have built. Nature tests them at every turn. They adapt, working in cool hours, hiding from midday heat, praying their hut survives the tempests. Every day is a lesson in resilience and ingenuity. Their bodies change, skin toughens, muscles harden, minds sharpen. The island shapes them, forging strength from hardship and unity from struggle. They learn to read the sky, predict weather, and understand the island's rhythms. Every cloud, every breeze becomes a clue for what's to come. The island, once a prison, becomes a place they know. Familiar paths emerge and the unknown slowly becomes home. They are no longer just surviving, they are living in a harsh, wild way. Routines form, and a sense of community grows among them. Fire is their most precious possession, warmth, cooking, hope. Around its glow, they find comfort and a sense of safety in the darkness. A signal fire burns on the highest point, a plea to the empty horizon. It is a beacon, a silent call for rescue that never fades. They take turns tending it, never letting it die. The fire is a shared responsibility, a symbol of their hope and determination. The smoke is a message. We are here. We are alive. It drifts skyward, a silent testament to their endurance. The fire is more than wood. It's their unbroken will. It burns with the spirit of survival, a flame that refuses to be extinguished. On this island, every day is a fight, but they have become men of the island. Their faces tell stories of hardship, courage, and transformation. Their existence is a testament to adaptation. They have learned to bend, not break, and to find strength in unity. Survival is now a way of life. Against all odds, they have forged a new existence from nothing, and in doing so, discovered what it truly means to endure. When the sun sets, a new battle begins. Darkness brings silence, broken only by wind and waves. Every shadow is a monster, every sound a threat. Exhaustion and hunger twist their minds, phantoms haunt them. Loneliness is suffocating, fear seeps into every thought. They lie awake listening to the wind through turtle shells, imagining footsteps in the sand. The line between reality and hallucination blurs. Faith becomes their shield. They pray together, voices low in the darkness. Prayer is their anchor, a ritual that connects them to the world they lost. In shared faith, They find companionship deeper than rivalry. Spiritual strength keeps them from surrendering to the darkness. Their prayers are the light that holds the shadows at bay. Years pass, 4, 5, 6, time blurs, hope fades, their bodies are gaunt, tough, wild, creatures shaped by the island. The signal fire still burns, but more from habit than hope. The endless horizon teaches disappointment. They move with practiced efficiency, but memories of Spain feel like dreams. Silence stretches between them, filled with unspoken despair. Stories of home are told less often. The island is now their reality. To hope is to risk heartbreak, so they accept their fate. 7 years, an entire lifetime lost. They barely recognize themselves, speaking in grunts and gestures. Social graces, cleanliness, comfort, all forgotten. The island has stripped them to their essence. They are no longer men of the world, but wild men of legend. Their ordeal pushes them to the edge, but they endure. Survival is instinct, not hope. They hold on, even as hope becomes a distant memory. The will to live remains, stubborn and unbroken. On a day like any other, Serrano tends the signal fire. He glances at the horizon, expecting nothing, but a speck appears, growing into a sail, a ship. Disbelief and hope surge through him. He screams for his companion. The Spanish ship approaches, drawn by the smoke. The sailors see 2 wild, hairy figures on the beach, more beast than man. Fear grips the captain. He orders the ship away, thinking them demons. Desperate, Serrano and his companion fall to their knees, praying aloud. Their voices carry the creed across the water. The sailors recognize the Christian prayer. These are men, not monsters. The captain, moved, orders a rescue. Relief overwhelms the castaways. They weep, bodies shaking with emotion. The sailors stare in awe at the wild men they pull aboard. Serrano and his companion struggle to speak, to explain their ordeal. They are given water, food, clothes, overwhelmed by the return to civilization. The nightmare is over. After 7 years they are saved. The world they rejoin is as strange as the island they left. Their story is met with horror and awe. Survival has made them legends. The journey back to civilization is overwhelming for Serrano. The world is loud, confusing, alien. His companion does not survive the journey, his body too weak for rescue. Serrano returns to Spain alone, a living relic with hair and beard down to his waist. Crowds flock to hear his story. He is no longer just a sailor but a legend. He meets the emperor, recounts his tale of turtles, storms, and faith. His ordeal becomes a symbol of human endurance and hope. Serrano receives a pension, but the island never leaves him. He carries its memory always, a reminder of what he survived. He faced the abyss and did not fall. His return is not just the end of his ordeal, but the beginning of his legacy. His story will be told for centuries. Serrano's story becomes legend, inspiring sailors and adventurers. The atoll where he survived is named Serrano Bank, a mark on the map and in history. His ordeal is preserved in literature, inspiring Robinson Crusoe and others. Serrano's ingenuity, resilience, and psychological battles echo through time. His legacy is more than survival. It's a testament to human vulnerability and strength. He and his companion built a society of 2, a microcosm of humanity. The story speaks to anyone who has ever felt lost or hopeless. His signal fire is a metaphor for hope against all odds. Serrano's legacy is about surviving the wild and the wilderness within. His tale endures as long as humans face the unknown. Serrano's ordeal is a testament to human endurance. He faced starvation, storms, and crushing loneliness, and survived. His story proves the human spirit is stronger than the body. The dynamic with his companion shows our need for each other and how conflict and cooperation coexist. Hope and faith were his greatest tools. His signal fire a symbol of belief. In the darkest times, what we choose to believe can keep us alive. Serrano's journey is a saga of life triumphing over despair. Courage is not the absence of fear, but action in spite of it. His legacy, no matter how empty the horizon, the human spirit endures. Hold on, rescue may be closer than you think.